Good day, everybody. This is the Modeling Hermit coming back at you with a whole new project. I'm sure most of you have had the situation of the glue, you're getting ready to use it and you knock it over. Well, we're going to do something that's going to solve that problem a little bit. We can't say completely. We're going to be making a glue holder. And this glue holder is just simply a bottom, a top, 4 posts, and some L-shaped pieces to hold it together, and then one strengthening piece on the side. And that's optional, but I'm going to put it there anyway. So I already have some 80 thousandths plastic cut for the top and bottom. 40 would be plenty. 80 is what I'm using just because I happen to have some on hand, and then I have a piece cut here, and you can see that I'm doing this just from scrap stuff that I have laying around. My uprights are 188 by 188, number 196 the Evergreen Scale Models Plastrek Company, and the angle is 295, 296 probably be better, but that's what I happen to have right on hand. So that's what we're going to be using today. We've got a piece started out here that we're going to start with. I should mention the tools that we're going to be using. Be using sprue cutter. I have several files that we'll be using. I have a hand drill, a little small hand drill. I have a spade bit that I'm going to be using, but I'll be using it off camera. We will need a square to cut for measuring, and we will definitely be needing one of these circle guides, and I'll show you why after a while, but we'll be using that. We'll need a straight edge, and naturally sandpaper, we'll need that. X-Acto knife, that will be getting used, and a ruler. And I like using these clear rulers just because I can see through them. And a pad to cut on. So anyway, that's what we're going to be using at this point. So let's get started. We're going to take some 188 by 188, and we're going to cut that. And oh yeah, there's one other tool, very important tool here. Going to make life easier. This big monstrosity here is an easy cutter. Midwest Products Easy Cutter Ultimate, they call it. And we're just going to be slipping these 188s in there and just giving that nice little jab. Come back here, make sure that we get our corners even on it. And now let's get out some more 188. And you'll see how the process goes. We're not going to be babbling all through it, drive you nuts, but so. Now, let's actually get this first one on here, make sure I can. Yep, we're exactly at, we're at 45 millimeters is what I'm cutting these at. And I'm using the ruler on each one. I'm not taking a chance on getting things lopsided. There. All right on the money. Double checking my length. Perfect. Perfect. Double checking those two together. Perfect. Now, when this cuts, it leaves a little bit of a jag on it. Just simply pull that off, measure it again. That's all there is to it. Measurement I'm using on this is 45. You can use whatever measurement you need for your bottle. I'm measuring this out for the plastic Bondine glass bottles. And so, well, am I good or am I good? Looky there. Doing this one more time. It would help to keep your measuring surface clean. Okay, so now that's all we're going to need of that. Oops, that's the wrong one. Let's get the right one. Okay, now we're going to make sure that they're all exact. And they all look really good. And I'm sure you can't see what's going on. Anyway, there they are. Now we need to cut our angle pieces. And those are going to be a little bit different way that we're going to do those. So you'll note that I have these two pieces, top and bottom, marked with X's. That's so that I keep everything squared because they are just slightly different if I move them around. So they gotta go just like that there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in on the bottom side and I'm going to start building these corner pieces in. I'm going to do that first. And the reason for that is because everything bases on those for getting the pieces on. So we're going to come in here, we're going to try and get that just exactly right. And that's just going to glue in there like that there. And if it hangs over a little bit, we can sand that afterwards. That's no big deal. Let's get stuff out of the way. Now, like I said, I've already cut these. And that's why you would need this to make sure that everything is nice and square. And so I'm just showing that for reference. And you would just cut it, to suit yourself however you needed it. So we can tack that a little bit. Like that, and then we're going to come on the bottom side of it here, back side of it. Putting it at an angle and letting the glue flow in there. And then that has to go just slightly here too. There we go. See a little bit of a wrinkle there. We're just going to drop a little glue down into that just to be on the safe side. I am actually using the plastic glue. And now the fun begins. We've got to get these things all nice and cut nice and even. This is where our sandpaper comes in. Get that marked. Oh, that's beautiful. That's tight. That's nice. That's nice. You can't see what I'm doing. I'm marking that right there. I'm just putting that into the side there, even with that, and then just marking this for cutting it over here. That's all I'm doing. Okay, get this back onto, we get that little piece from before off of there. And there we go. Making sure everybody stayed where they're supposed to. Oh, that's tight. That's nice. There we go. We're liking that. We're liking that. And then we just bring that up and we glue it the same way we did before. Now let's go with another piece on there. One more piece. Again, we're just doing the same thing. I'm going to try and get this so that you can see what I'm doing. There we go. I mean, let's face it, marking for cutting is not space or rocket science. Of course, the way I do it, maybe it is, but and that's got to be standard. Just a stitching. Just a stitching. Okay, so stitch them in half. There we go. Help to get some of the stuff out of my way. And trying to do this so that you can see what I'm doing and I can see what I'm doing at the same time. Tack that down. That. Now the nice thing about this is it's not like model cars where you have to worry about all your details afterwards or anything. This is just, all you're doing is just making something that makes it easier for gluing without having to worry about spilling your glue. So we're not getting real carried away in perfection on this thing. Now here we go. Last piece that's going to go on this side here. And sorry, but I'm going to have to have that where I can see to cut it. Now, are we right? Oh, we're perfect. We're perfect. Until I screw it up anyway. And but I'm cutting all these off of the camera so that you can't see what I'm doing. There we go. I just realized that. And there we are. Boy, that fit in nice and tight. Just perfect. Just absolute perfection. And we'll just glue it in. We just simply glue it in. Now we're going to go through all these other corners here because that's another place of strengthening. Make sure everybody's nice and tight. There we go. That's the bottom piece. Remember, keeping those X's the same right there. So now this in here, in order to go there, we've got to flip it over to here. Let's mark our X here. Now we start out again. I'm actually going to start over here where I'm not messing up my X. Because X marks the spot. Let me get back on here good so that you can see what I'm doing with this cutter. That's it. That's all this cutter's doing. Just simply makes a lot easier work out of this. Check my length. Oh man, that's nice. Wish I could do this good work all the time. Enjoy it while I can now, let me tell you what. Usually I'm making all kinds of mistakes on these things. But that's what makes it fun. Alright, so now we're going to come back in here with the glue on the back side again. One more time in the middle there, I think, too, but a little thin there. Okay, now what I want to do actually, I'm going to take this thing, a little high spot right there. Didn't want to go down. Slide that over. There we go. Let's go with this in here again now. Oh, finally need it. Just a quarter stitching. Just a quarter of a stitching. And let's do a cutter. There we go. Double checking. Nice. Take off a little burr there. And tacking it. Go. That. Let's catch this part here. Then we go over to this. That one's done. Let's go this side. A little filing or not? A slight bit. There's a little burr on it. Actually, speaking of, there's a burr on that. Okay, so back on, here we go. Trying to get it again so that you can see what I'm doing. A little tricky because this is small and it doesn't want to cooperate. Okay, so we got to do it this way. So all we did was just mark that thing again. Sliding this back in here. Put that over there so we don't get mixed up. And checking my length. A little burr. By burr. Okay, try this. A little bit of tacking. Remember, you can partially cover up that X, so you got to make sure what you're doing here is that when you're building this, that you're watching for that. Now, I may have to do a little bit of work on this in here to get it in tight. I think I cut it. No, I cut it perfect. Good grief! I wish I could do this all the time. Let's go ahead and tack that. I must just be catching all of your good vibes or something here. Yeah, this baby's going together beautiful. Going together beautiful. Go around here, catch some of these corners. Make sure everybody's good and tight in the corners. Okay. So now here's the fun part. Okay, now you gotta keep your X's together. Here's our X's. Now before I go sanding this, I'm gonna let that tighten up there good. But we're gonna go ahead and mark this. Okay, now we could leave the lid on tight. I could put this on and try and mark this like this here. Who knows what we're gonna actually get out of that. What we're going to do, I didn't want to put that in there yet. What we're going to do is we wanna find the one that goes right there. Right there is it. So we're going to hold that, and actually first we got another little chore we got to do. We got to do some measuring here. So going across here is 65. So that would be 33, just shy of 33. And this side here, I think it's a shade wider. It is 66. So we're going to measure it at the actual 33. And, yep. So what we want to do there is actually kind of come across that a little bit farther. And 33, we're going to make sure we're still where we're supposed to be there. Actually, that was perfect there, right there. Now, the reason I make such a nice long line is because remember now we're using this, that we're going to need a 1 5/8 inch circle. And we're going to just measure, put that right onto those lines there until they all cross somewhere closely equal. And that was good enough to see me until I moved it. Now holding it in place so I don't move it again, we're just gonna take and make a circle there. And then we're gonna go cut that out. What I'm gonna do first though is I'm gonna start with a little small drill here. And we're gonna make it a pilot hole for it.